I think that there is not a one-size-fits-all or even a kind of a convergence toward sort of a certain set of business models or products, really, not even business models, but just the products that people consume news by. We see, at least from our point of view at MSNBC, a lot of diversity.
In terms of successful niche markets, I think we have to look at the tech sector and what Jim Louderback is doing. Jim, tell us a little bit about, your strategy, both as a destination and also the sort of hyper syndication business you have going on. How does it work?
Sure, yeah. I mean, from a strategy perspective, although we tend to go after things that people are passionate about, what you might call niches, we're more focused on communities. So we do hosted-based, repeatable, episodic entertainment that's informative as well. There's a lot of buzzwords in one. But basically it comes around finding somebody who has a proven ability to build a community around themselves online, whether it's Kevin Rose in the Dig audience or Veronica Belmont in the tech audience, or Brian Brushwood when it comes to magic and scamming drinks from your friends at the bar. All of them are capable of building an audience online and a social community around themselves. They're also really good at video. And one of the things that we believe is that there are no walled gardens when it comes to internet video on the internet. So we don't try and lock people into our site. Our stuff has no DRM. It's Creative Commons. We distribute it anywhere, anytime, any device, any service. And our viewers want the ability to watch it on their rules, their time, where they want, when they want. 70% watch on something like this, but 17% watch on a handheld or a cell phone. 13% watch on, I don't know, some other type of screen. Might be big, might be small, might be rectangular.
How do you create value in that?
Well, one of the ways we do it is by making advertising, because it's host-driven, and these hosts for the audiences are people that they just want to hang out with all the time. There's a sponsorship model and kind of a host endorsement, which is a little Back to the Future, kind of Ed Sullivan, and a little bit like Howard Stern. But it really works because the hosts talk about it. I mean, not the way you're thinking. But it's very much around them being passionate about a product or just talking about the product and explaining it and exploring the brand. And because you can't separate that from the content itself. It's so interesting and engaging, and they do it in a way that it's just as much fun as the content. Although it's really clear it's a sponsorship message, that when we distribute that out through the partners, it rides with it, and we're able to monetize it that way.
Jigar, that's also part of the model at CBS Interactive for web video, I think. Is it in terms of, there's some discussion about entertainment video with baked-in sponsorship. Tell us your approach to that.
Hold on a second.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right there. No, it very much is. I mean, I think that resonates quite a bit because if you look at the economics, and I think anybody can tell you that if you just run these numbers from a pure CPM point of view, it's very hard to turn significant profit. When you start to think about it in terms of product placements, branded integrations, these types of things are much more valuable to an advertiser. They're still few and far between, but the big dollars and the big money will eventually have to come from large branded integrations, from product placements, and from a more technical point of view, and we're talking about hyper syndication because that's something that CBS is very involved with our audience network. For us, it's somewhat easy because our player usually lives within our partner sites. So for example, on AOL, it's skinned with the AOL player, but the back end is actually the CBS player. Once you go to YouTube and some other places that don't allow your player to exist, it's very hard to, number one, count the numbers of views, and two, retain the consumer data. If the product is embedded into the material itself, you sort of bypass a lot of those issues, and you can actually retain a lot of the value as this stuff goes out and exists further into the marketplace. It's also, we're also seeing just a lot of interest from our advertiser community in getting involved in original web content projects. They are now coming to us and saying, we want to get involved in this. Here's a writer that we want to work with. Can you be our distribution and production partner? Or listen, you guys are tapped in the marketplace, you're CBS. Can you tell us what's hot, and can we then use some of our marketing messages and our products and involve those in the programming you're doing? So it's a huge part of our business, and I think going forward, it'll be the monetization strategy.
First of all, on the engagement and awareness on the metrics of the sponsorship stuff, it's huge for us. I mean, we survey our audience and find that 100% unaided recall of a single sponsor, 93% can name two or more, And 48% bought a product or a service from one of our sponsors, which is that's the kind of stuff traditional media would kill for. One of the comments on the distribution, embedded for our viewers and the people that we reach, which is sort of this 30 and under males, is not enough. I mean, they want to control to the point of, the anywhere, anytime, any device, any service really means I want to be able to download it, and so that if I'm not connected to the internet, I can watch it, or if I'm on my handheld or wherever I am. So we find that although a year ago it was about 90% download and view in a disconnected world, it's 70% now. So at least we're up to 30% streaming in that kind of. But if we took away that ability for people to grab it and download it and store it and watch it at their convenience, we would lose a significant chunk of our audience.